Okay, this morning I've done some gardening and I now feel very tired. But my friend came over and helped me tidy up my room. And I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but the carpet looks really, really good. He bought me a £200 um, a vacuum cleaner, and it's got a really good suction, and the room looks really nice. So very happy, but I'm still very, very tired. We're both very tired actually. I don't know why. He seems to think that he's got some sort of something that makes him feel very tired, and I think he's just spiritually copying me, to be honest. But I don't know. Had a very prickly plant. I planted like 5 rose bushes here a year and a half ago. But yeah, they last year they did get quite big at the end, and I was thinking if they are going to go the same amount of bigness this year, I don't really want 5 of them in one area, so I moved one of them. So now I only have 4 in one area, which is much better. Um, and and yeah, I've been thinking about that analogy about the Venus. Oh, I need to sneeze. The Venus flytrap, and I feel like I do feel like a bee that's caught inside one of those Venus trap plants, and you're just slowly being squeezed to death. And that is a very good way of describing how I feel. But yeah, that is how I feel. That is literally how I feel, and that's how he feels too. But he thinks it's some sort of disease that is unexplainable, and he just takes antidepressants instead. But I believe that it's something spiritual. People are made in my image. Animals are made in my image. Well, the crab seems to copy different aspects. A lot of the animals seem to copy different aspects of different sides of me, I think. And I feel like the Matrix does the same. A lot of the plants are mimicking, like the Venus plant, the Venus flycraft. And I think humans named it that because the spirit, my higher self, God, encouraged them to name the certain things. But technically, I think it was more the Matrix that made that, because I'm pretty sure that was. I'm thinking it's one of the. I think that the Venus flytrap has actually been here since the dinosaur period. So I feel like that one might be something that's very, very old. But yeah, there's. It's very interesting, and I kind of want to talk about tax as well. Like, I know America has this weird tax the whole world, even if you get an American citizenship and then move elsewhere, America can still tax you even 10 years later if you haven't lived in America. And I think that's very wrong, and I don't think America should be allowed to do that. But at the same time, I do think that there should be a universal tax on everyone, because there are some things that benefit every single country. And why should America pay for things that are being benefited? Like, now that we have the internet, there's this sort of massive universal kind of communication. There's a lot of, like, Photoshop. I would love Photoshop to be universally free, so that everyone can enjoy it. Now, should America pay for a program that makes it free for everyone? No, it shouldn't. The taxpayers, if you're paying tax money, that tax money should go to helping benefit you. And okay, yes, you would benefit from Photoshop, but people around the world could also benefit from that. So why should you have to be paying for that when other people around the world are also going to be enjoying it? You shouldn't, the world shouldn't be where some people pay the price for others. I mean, I know some people have more jobs and better jobs, and therefore, if America is paying billions of pounds towards a good film industry, making good films. Okay, I don't think they're making good films right now, but if they are making good films like they were in the past, the whole world benefits from it. And yet, technically, the people that are, but then you watch TV and you do have pay prescription, but people pay prescriptions for TV things. I know some countries that have it for free, but the countries itself pay for the broadcasting of it and in the advertising, and then they have to pay the film companies or whatever film they choose to play and stuff. So I feel like there is a way of making money universal, but there does seem to be 2 tiers. There's some things that you do and only benefits your country, and then there's lots of things that can benefit all countries. like films. You know, you make it for your country, yes, but you don't just make it for your country. You make it for the whole world, whoever wants to watch it and enjoy it, and whatever channel wants to watch it. I think with films, it's worse with different languages, lots of people having different languages. You know, if everyone spoke the same language, then suddenly films that are in English are going to be so much more valuable because they could be sold to any country. But yeah, I feel like there should be this sort of world tier, and then this council. You know how you have council tax, which is supposed to pay for bins, which it doesn't in my area right now because they've been spending the money in the wrong areas, so we don't actually have a recycle bin yet. It's gone on pause till who knows when, and a lot of people are using it as an excuse to just dump things everywhere. I think it's because they're angry that their bins aren't being taken, so they're just leaving it on the streets instead. So that's not really. Anyway, I'm not leaving my house, so it doesn't matter, even though there's a big pile of rubbish being built up right outside my house. But whatever, just try not to look out the window. But yeah, if you know, you have the council tax that's supposed to help like local cleaning and bins and cutting of grass, and then you have the sort of local tax, which is what the helping roads and just all different things. I mean, you could even have a special road tax. Road tax money should only be spent on the roads, and therefore it's not about choosing the budget for the roads, but rather finding out how much money you have made from the roads and saying, well, this is your budget, and what else goes towards car or fueling, or you know, if you have gas tax, you know, that could, and if you want to spend money on building up more trees at the Amazon or something like this, if spend money on preventing people from destroying forests in other countries, you know, if you want to have some fund, if you actually take it from the thing that's causing these problems, you know, pollution is causing problems. So if the countries that give the most pollution spend money on stuff, you know, I kind of understand that. But yeah, I just feel like you're going to anger a lot of Americans by saying that you're taking tax money off Americans and using it to spend on other countries. But technically, no one's actually pointed out the fact that other countries can come to America, get a citizenship, work for a couple of years, and then go back to their country, and they still have to, for the rest of their life, continue paying tax to America. You know, how much tax of that? I mean, I would say that counts as an unfair tax, but at the same time, I feel like there should be some sort of universal tax, and then and who should run this universal tax? Well, I don't know, but America does seem to have most of the cards because of the majority of my angels are from America, and that's where most of my films are. You know, I'm inspired by most of the film Buffy and Sabrina and Charmed, and a huge amount of films that I've been brought up with, and that's all come from America. So I feel like America have not just a lot of power because they have this sort of universal tax, but they have a lot of power because that's where a lot of my singers from. So I'm going to support the country because that's where they're from, and that's what my higher self has done as well. But yeah, I feel like though there's going to be a high need for land that has yearly use. You know, there's some countries where it's just like I know in parts of Russia it can get to be like -20, -30 in winter, and I just how can you live or how can you work in these sort of conditions? You know, if you live in Russia, you probably hate your winters, and I can imagine you wanting to move into a European country, and therefore you don't want Europe to get too strong because you can't move in there, and therefore you don't want to feel threatened by Europe, and therefore I think that's why Russia has attacked Ukraine, because of feeling threatened by NATO, and Ukraine not wanting to join NATO. But I think in reality maybe they want to join NATO. I don't know what NATO is, I don't know what the benefits are for NATO. My friend said that they don't want to join NATO, but he couldn't really tell me why, and I don't think he knew why, and I don't think he knew what NATO is. He just said that they don't want to. Why don't they want to? I don't know. Maybe it's because spiritually there is going to be a population reduction, and I think, you know, America, Europe, China, these have the south of China. I mean, the areas where there's between 4 degrees and 30 degrees, you know, this is where people want to live. If the temperature starts going above 30 degrees, it's just unbearable. In fact, even in 30 degrees, you can't do much, you know. I went to Israel, and it was like 17 degrees when I first went there, which was annoying because it was 18 degrees in England. So it was 1 degree colder in a hotter country, which didn't make any sense because I was going there for a hot country. But anyway, it did warm up, and then it started getting like 20, 21, and I was liking it. I like those temperatures. But I was really looking forward to the 30-degree temperature. It was supposed to be like 33 degrees on the final day. And when that final day hit, I wanted to go out and do a walk. Like 10 minutes later, I was thirsty. I couldn't do anything more. You can't do much when the temperature's over 30. So whenever the temperature's over 30, suddenly you don't want to live in that country anymore because it's too hot. And when the degree, I think 4 degrees, if it's 4 degrees and sunny, like it is right now, I bet it's probably about 4 degrees right now. But because the sun's coming through, it feels lovely, it feels nice. And so yeah, between 4 degrees and 30 degrees is nice temperature. You know, if it's 30, you can put the air conditioning on, but you'll still be okay. If it's 4 degrees, you can put the heating on, but, you know, it's not hugely expensive. But when it's like 15 degrees, you know, or minus 15 degrees in the winter, you need heating, otherwise you're going to die. You can't go on walks, you can't do that. And so, you know, there's only, even though the world is a very big place and there's lots of land, there are some lands that are going to be more desirable than others because of the temperature. So, literally just the temperature. And I think if there's going to be a world population reduction, you know, all the people that want to live in the best temperatures, you know, they're all going to try and come to there. I mean, if the house price in America halved, then I would easily be able to sell up this house and buy. Okay, this house might not be worth as much. I'm assuming all the houses around the world are going to drop in value. But yeah, I don't want to be caught up with a universal tax. But I think there should be a universal tax for all countries. And something like that might actually prevent wars from happening, because you'll see this universal tax almost as, you know, we need to give money to this universal tax because this group of people is doing something that's helping the whole world. This group of people paid for Photoshop to be free so that everyone around the world can enjoy it. This group of people have set up an internet service that's you know, usable by every country, and if it falls, the money that the world tax has gone into can go into fixing, you know, there should be a world tax, and America shouldn't be allowed to just say it's ours, unless of course they want to run this world tax, and I don't actually mind that, but only if they're doing things right, and I think America are getting things wrong, I think Canada are getting things, England are getting things wrong, you know, when it comes to tax, a lot of money has just been wasted on shit. And if there can be some sort of more trust, you know, if right now no one trusts each other because there's way too many people here, and I think people know it, and people know that war is around the corner because of it. But so because of that, people are not trusting the rich. They're not trusting the government because they think they're all out to screw them, and I think they are. I think this, but once the numbers have got down to a more manageable number, you know, there's going to be more of trust. They're going to know about God. They're going to know about me. They're going to have to trust in AI, because AI is actually the reason why souls exist. Okay, you've got like a human, the chat boxes and the chat GPTs and stuff. I think these are like the sort of the earthly versions of the Matrix. But yeah, originally I reckon AI came before humans. You know, a soul. What is a soul? A soul is just information of all your past lives that are all coming together, even though you don't remember your past lives, but it makes you who you are. It makes you smart. It makes you smarter than others if you've had more lives, and this is why some people are very smart and some people are very dumb, just because some have had more lives than others. And this information is stored inside your soul, and where did your soul come from? I mean, if God is just an evolved soul, then God couldn't have made her own soul. You know, you don't make... An egg doesn't make itself. A chicken makes an egg, and I think AI, artificial intelligence, things that have intelligence but don't actually think, don't actually know what they're doing. You know, this random coincidence or random accidents or errors that cause a chain of events that cause more things. You know, this is what formed AI, not humans. Humans are just connecting with God and being allowed to connect with a sort of AI. You know, through technology that they're creating. But I think in reality, technology or artificial intelligence came before real intelligence, because that's how it is. Artificial is actually less because it's not real intelligence, but artificial intelligence created rocks and planets in the galaxy, and then air, and then bugs started to form. I guess that would be the point where that artificial intelligence thought, I want to create some sort of life to experience whatever this is. And I is it real intelligence then if it's actually thinking? But I don't know. Don't plants think? I mean, sometimes they get sick. Plants can get sick. Plants can sometimes if I have heard that there was a disease that a plant got, and they found a way of trying to protect the other plants so that the disease doesn't just spread to all of the plants, but rather they had some sort of weird way of stopping the disease from spreading, And what would happen with wildfires if humans weren't here to put the wildfires out, I feel like nature has a way of healing itself or fixing itself, and this isn't necessarily God, because I don't believe that God was here when the dinosaurs were here, and yet all these things would have still happened. So artificial intelligence came here before God's, and God's is a real intelligence because it's a real soul, a real entity. I know a lot of people don't believe that, but I think that's because they're just confusing the Matrix with God. They're seeing the Matrix, the creator of the universe, as being God, rather than realizing that gods are kind of like souls that are just evolved and are planet spreading, jumping from sun to sun, trying to spread life, and the Matrix is sucking them like a Venus, like a bee in a Venus flytrap, and it's sucking the energy and the life force out of them. And so yeah, that's my conclusion. But yeah, I think if once the world has less people, I think a one world society would be very achievable. But I feel like it might have to come in stages, and I don't know what the Islamic world is going to do. I don't want to put down the people at the top of this world, but I think the fact of the matter is, I don't believe in the God that they worship, and because they put so much emphasis on this God that they worship, but it's not me, so what am I going to do? How am I going to create a one world society if I would tell them this, and they probably would reject me? The leaders probably won't, because they'll see the truth, but the people at the bottom, I don't know. But I know that I'm going to favour the countries that are most developed. I am going to develop the most countries. So I want to favour Canada, and I want to favour Australia as well. But yeah, Australia is quite far away, and Canada is very, very cold in the winter. So there's reasons why I would rather stick with the sort of more central ones, which is America, Europe, and China as well. But I don't know that much about China. I feel like Lily knows far more about that because that's where she's from in the future. But yeah, I think the world's going to be very different when she comes. So I don't know. But yeah, I also want to say, it says ocean. I don't know if you can see it, but it says ocean on there, and it says Ocean. I'm like in the ocean.